Quick.
Speaking of retro, you actually got footage of me, eh? Hey,
Yeah.
boys.
Ew.
It's awesome when you stream and we can get footage of the games that you're
Yes.
reviewing.
So Lord Yeshua is streaming again. You're actually going to see us tonight. Probably get a food break after this, but then me and Colin are going to do a stream of Super Mario Sunshine co-op that you guys are going to see in Dolphin. It's actually using Parsec, so it's not an online mod. But I think I'm going to re-gear myself into a co-op streamer. We're going to only try. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to game on my own, so it'd be cool to always
That's
have a different person or Colin or whoever, but always get a guy in there to be a second player.
honestly,
It's gonna
Josh,
be really cool.
it's so much more fun when I do
Yeah,
my
that's
stuff
my
with
biggest.
and even the painting streams and the tabletop simulator stuff. It's so much more fun because you have someone you can you have another voice in your head.
Yeah.
Basically, it's
Yeah,
not
you
talking.
have another voice to bounce off of, and every time I watch our videos, me and Colin, it's like bouncing back and forth. It's really nice. But
Yeah.
he was actually in Discord for most of this, so I don't know his commentary maybe in this very moment, but it's just commentary. He doesn't like to show his face anymore. I kind of get it.
No,
But that's fair.
Yeah.
So at first glance, what you're seeing here is Donkey Kong, right? Everyone's like, "Well, this is Donkey Kong. This is the 1981 classic. Like nothing to see here. Like whatever, pass, right?" Yeah, I played this game before. And the first three levels of the game, you'd be correct. Actually, they add a fourth level. So initially it's like 1, 2, and 3, and then it's done on the arcade. You just spent your 75 cents or whatever the fuck, and then. But now there's a fourth level, right? Okay, and as soon as you beat those very old school levels, it opens up into a fucking giant world. Welcome to Donkey Kong for the Game Boy. This is maybe one of the most underrated, if not unheard of, I would say, games for the Game Boy or for just game in general that I feel like slipped through the cracks. This would be an incredible candidate for a remake. I know that games exist like Mario versus Donkey Kong became a thing for the Game Boy Advance and the DS and the 3DS. I believe Mario versus Donkey Kong is a thing, but none of it is the same as Donkey Kong, in my opinion. This game stands head and shoulders above those remakes because those were more geared towards puzzling and stuff and some platforming. But this game has a lot of unique factors in it, especially for 1994 on the Game Boy that I'll explain here right now. So we have Donkey Kong for the Game Boy, developed by Nintendo, produced by Nintendo. So it is a Nintendo OG. They literally breathe all of their love and power and all of their united forces from the entire company into every one of their IPs that's an exclusive. So you got to think this is literally them remaking Donkey Kong from 1981 into a full game. They gave such a shit about this. I promise. This is not a rehash. This is not a. It's barely a remake. It's almost an entirely new game based on that concept of the original Donkey Kong. It's more what it is. Release date is June 14th, 1994. So this came out right at the same time as Donkey Kong Country 1, give or take a few months. This is 2 years before Super Mario 64. So this is after Super Mario World and a few of those other ones. This is the first time we've kind of been handling Mario on his own, I think, in a little bit because we got Yoshi's Island. So really since Super Mario World, this is the first game we've had where it's like Mario on a solo adventure, aside from some other bullshit ones like Mario is Missing. I played it on emulator, although you can play it on the Game Boy. I did own it on the Game Boy. All my Game Boy games got stolen in college. It's really sad, but I played this.
I owned this one too.
This was a good one. This made me sad when I lost my collection, but on RetroArch is really cool because I'm using the rewind. So this is a very big game. So I'll say this one real quick. How long was it? Is that even a thing? How long did it take you? So this game really only took me like 8 to 10 hours, I would say. It was like 3 or 4 playthroughs, but that's a Game Boy game and that's using rewind. This is like a 20 to 25, 30 hour game, maybe, if you're just playing it, with batteries in your backseat of your mom's van. It's definitely a game that playing it again now as an adult, I'm like, how the fuck did I play this without rewind? This game is insane. So available on Game Boy. What did I like about the game? This game has a lot of innovations to Mario in general. This is the first Mario game where Mario has acrobatic moves. So this is 2 years prior to Super Mario 64, like I prefaced. So Mario literally knows a kickflip. So when you're running in one direction, you stop real quick in the other direction and you jump. You do a kickflip, which gives you a little bit of height, and it's really quick also for avoiding enemies and obstacles and stuff. It's my favorite move in Mario, and it literally started in this game, in the Game Boy game. It's fucking incredible to me. Truly a hidden gem. I agree, Adam. And then on top of that, you can do a handstand, which is the first game you've been doing that, and you can do a backflip for extra height, or you can do a jump into a handstand into another jump for a triple jump. So it's the first time we're seeing all of these moves Mario can also grab onto rope and like spin around, which we see again in Super Mario Sunshine. We don't see that again until Sunshine, actually, but it's like literally from this game where he's like on a rope and he spins the fuck around, with FLUDD, and he just like launches himself. A lot of inspiration is taken from this game. I gotta think Mario having a move set in general, like Shigeru Miyamoto obviously had his hand on the trigger on this one, being an original Donkey Kong and Mario creator, and this is the first time he's like bringing them both to life with their new personalities in the same game. So this is a very important game for him, in my opinion. I think it would have been. So where was I going with that? Oh shit. So I've literally lost where I was going, but it sounded good. And then let's see what else. So he like started with the new move set with Mario here, and then he must have thought this is an amazing idea. Let's give Mario all these amazing acrobatic moves. Like Mario can already fly and jump really well. Why can't he do more than jump? Let's make Mario a literal Olympian. Like this man in Super Mario 64.
I loved about this game.
Olympian.
Well, when I first played this game, I was a gymnast.
You're a gymnast in here. Yeah.
And like I played this game and I was like, holy shit, Mario's doing giants on the high bar. Like he's he's doing handstands and backflips and stuff. I was like, Mario's a gymnast. This is so cool, Like that blew my mind.
Which
it's absolutely
like suddenly I'm realizing that there's credibility to Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. See, Mario, he may have the pasta gut, but no, he's got the skills. Yeah, have you seen him in the Mario DDR game? I mean, he's fucking lying. Anyway,
God, I forgot.
That's a thing. But yeah, so Mario surprisingly acrobatic. What else do I like about this game? This game is big, like a big game. You're given 101 levels, 101 levels, and each level is its own personality and theme. And maybe some have like the same theme, but in a different way. But for the most part, all 101 levels are completely different. And you're dropped into a sandbox with a timer, usually like 150 seconds to 250 or 300 seconds, depending on the size of the level. But you can literally play around and do whatever you want, like a regular Mario level, except it's all contained to like a little square. It kind of feels Mario Maker-ish, but it still feels like platformery in a way, like where you are a gymnast. Like, sure, you're not speed running. That's the only aspect that's really taken out, is that like dashing through the level. So instead, we take out the running bits from Super Mario Bros. And we condense it to just like the platforming bits and the puzzle parts. And now we have a totally new type of Mario game. So in my opinion, groundbreaking in so many fucking types of ways. This game is like $15 also on the Game Boy right now. I'm just kind of jumping all over the place. So it just saying it is such a buried gem. One of those things where this game feels like it should be.
The fact that you can get this still for $15 used when there's other games that suck, honestly. Some of them that, cost hundreds of dollars. I wouldn't say Mega Man 5 sucks, but like that game's amazing. But like it's like a $500 game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, compared to this, and it's like literally $20 maybe.
Yeah, and this game gives you a ton more content, honestly.
An absurd amount of content. So that's also what I love about this game. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Every time I was beating a donkey, which by the way, there's multiple bosses. Every fourth level is a donkey fight. So you would always have variation, and he would introduce a new concept for the next few levels. And it would literally keep going like that, and you'd meet that world and be like, surely there's not more. And there'd be even more, and there's like 16 levels in this next world. And then, we got to be at the end of the game now. I kept thinking, no, there's another fucking world. It's endless, and there's so much content, and the ideas just kept on coming. Nintendo was clearly like, let's see how many fucking ideas we can have and shove them into a game. We have an opportunity here. For some reason, the Game Boy is gigantic now, where we can fit this 101 level game. I have no fucking idea how this game fits on the Game Boy, if I'm being perfectly honest. 1994 maybe makes a little more sense because the Game Boy came out in 91, and maybe it was given some time for growth. And, they're working with like other things like on the Super now. So I don't know, but this is a big game.
When Pokemon Gold and Silver came out, we put blue and red on a triple beam balance and did the same, and with Gold and Silver on the other side. The cartridge is notably heavier.
Yeah, well, it's
interesting. Yeah,
they fit like the entire map of red and blue in Gold and Silver, didn't they?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So like what Adam is saying here, like they give you all the mechanics right off the bat, but they don't introduce like the ways to use them, complexity wise, until there's little cutscenes every time you beat Donkey Kong, which is every fourth level. he introduces a new thing, and sometimes it'll show Mario doing like some of his acrobatic stuff, and you're like, holy shit, I have to like do that now. So the game actually teaches you gradually. Also, if you just like leave the controller alone at the start screen, it'll show Mario like literally dancing around doing his acrobatic stuff. So the game kind of like teaches you in a mini tutorial. This game is incredible. There's these little bonus levels because lives are really valuable. If you don't have a rewind, you're gonna die. You're gonna die so much. It's insane. It's like Dark Souls, Mario, Cuphead, whatever. It's insane at the end of the game. The last world is atrociously hard. The story is actually meatier than a lot of Mario games. Donkey Kong is like traveling across the country, kidnapping Pauline, who is surprisingly well bosomed in this game. Like, I can't believe they afforded a lot of extra pixels on her character, I'll say. But it's definitely Pauline. It's not Peach. I'm 90% sure, and maybe they did Peach.
No, I think it is Pauline. On the cover, she's got like brown or red hair.
Yeah, or darker hair.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is his one last soiree with his ex. So it's got more of a story. Like, you actually see like the different areas, and it's not like saying any words, but it's still like there are cutscenes. There's a lot of cutscenes, in fact, which is interesting. Gameplay is absolutely incredible. It's just so much fun. Like, you really don't think it's going to be fun for some reason in your mind's eye before you play this game, like watching like the levels and how they are. Maybe you do, but if you've never played a game like this, you might not think it's going to be that enjoyable. And when you actually sink your teeth into it, and when all the concepts start unfolding themselves to you and keeping the game fresh every single level, you're just like, oh my god, this is such an interesting and fun concept for a game. Amazing gameplay loop. Constantly fresh, always fun. Like, I do not understand it. It's always fun. I wish there were more room to like do triple jumps and more acrobatic stunts. Like, I wanted more of that, but what it gave me was still enough. You know, it still felt really good. The art was it's actually pretty decent for the Game Boy. I played it on the Game Boy Color emulator.
Great,
so
yeah.
I think it looks great. This is 8-bit, so or whatever. So this is really good. The music is actually very, very good on this, and some of the songs were blowing me away. Actually, not as good as Donkey Kong Land, but that came out a year after. So a lot of these, the Game Boy really went for a while. Let's think about that. So, like, you know,
longevity was insane.
Longevity was insane. Donkey Kong Land 3 came out on the OG Game Boy, adapted to the Game Boy Color, but literally released on the Game Boy in 1997. So that's like how fucking long the Game Boy was going for. But so this game came out like somewhere in the middle. So because of that, I would say the sound design isn't as good as the future Donkey Kongs. Also, David Wise didn't do this game, or Koji Kondo, some random guy who was good, but not like Nintendo absurdly good. I don't know if they ever used him again, honestly, because I did not recognize this guy's name. But I think still really good, and still worthy of like not knocking any numbers off. It still was Nintendo Gold, but maybe not like Koji Gold. You know what I mean, for a Mario game, or David Wise Gold for a Donkey Kong game. But still, some of the tracks would really blow me away for the Game Boy in 1994. Sound design, same deal, like really incredible, spot on, like perfect sound design. You knew when you were doing a backflip and shit. How long did it take me?
You're absolutely right on this composer. He's a no name. He has no Wikipedia page.
Oh dang!
Oh what? He's a no name, and this is the only thing
I'm gonna
he's ever
reverse
done.
Google him, but like, we'll see what else he's done.
Let's see what else. In the meantime, the game took me about 8 to 10 hours. It it would probably take you about 20 to 30 hours on your first run without a rewind mechanic. With a rewind, this will take you about 8 to 10 hours. So this game is pretty meaty, I would say. This game could take you like not even an hour. If you knew how to play this game would take you 40 minutes. No joke. If you knew what you were doing. I bet the speed run is stupid on it, in fact. But we're talking logically here. A lot of these puzzles are pretty difficult, and you're going to want to like play the game and enjoy it. So I think 5 to 10 hours, realistically. But it could really take you a long time. Like, if you really don't know what you're doing at all.
This guy had 2 other sound composer credits. Other than that, he was a programmer / director / other stuff. Wave Race and Top Rank Tennis.
Wow. Dude, Wave Race just came out on the 64
no way.
emulator on Switch, by the way.
I'm going to play that.
Anyway, sorry about that.
No, that's interesting. So he basically was like they gave it a shot on this game, and I personally thought it was good, but would have loved to see one of the bigger guys. But I think the music still holds up pretty highly.
Sure.
The game is incredibly difficult. I'm going to say it scales nicely. There are 9 worlds and 101 levels. So the scaling is all over the place, kind of. You'll be in like world 8 and it'll be super tough, and there'll be like a little bit of leeway for a second, and then it'll go back to being hard. You know what I mean? So it's not just like hammering you into the ground constantly. There are still like some of the levels in world 9 are easier than some of the levels in world 7, but it's just variably. Like, you know what I mean? Like there are more hard levels in world 9, if that makes sense. And so world like 1, 2, and 3 are pretty easy, and you're moving through them pretty fast. And by the time you get to world 4, it's starting to get a little crispy, and then you still some easiness, and then 5 and on, it's like really getting hard, and the concepts are getting very complex. And this is where you're going to be dying a lot. So the game is incredibly difficult in the end, I would say. And I'm not saying that to deter anyone from playing it, but it is really a puzzle game. Like truly, this is not slouching at all. This will test you. This game has a lot of really intricate puzzles that I
have it on my Game Boy.
Yes. A lot of intricate puzzles that I feel like, well, that's still something.
Well, I used to own it. It's long gone.
Right?
It's long gone.
I know. I'm sad that mine are long gone. So basically, this isn't like beginner puzzle stuff. A lot of the platforming is like basic, I would say, as far as Mario is concerned. Like anyone can figure that side scrolling out. It's really good for that, actually. Like if you were trying to get someone into playing a side scrolling Mario, I think this would be a really good start. Even for Zelda too, actually. This would be a really good game to intro someone into, just to get them the basics of how games work. They've never played games before. You know what I mean? Like this is a perfect type of game to introduce someone. Like this is how you move sideways. This is a key. It opens doors. It's like also a weapon you can hit people with. You can jump on bad guys. Like this is a puzzle. Like you kind of figure out slowly like how puzzles work. And like I think in a lot of regards, this is one of the most perfect like games in that regard for teaching new people. But it just encompasses so much of what gaming is all about. You know, even difficulty towards the end. I would definitely play a sequel, although the sequels exist, Mario versus Donkey Kong, and these aren't as good. I would play a remake or a spiritual successor to this exact game, but they like change up the mechanics heavily in the later Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, and it's not the same game. It's not Donkey Kong.
Yeah, they're way more puzzly.
It's more puzzly, and it uses
you got like the
minions,
little toy
the
wind
toy
up
stuff.
Things, and
it's more like Braid and stuff like that than it is like the original, which is like a playground that you know what I mean? Like I'm expecting like if they remake it, it's like you're Mario from Mario 64 or Sunshine with these amazing like backflip, wall jump, all this shit, but you're still like in a box and you have to figure out this puzzle using Mario's mechanics, and that's it. And maybe Donkey Kong's there throwing barrels at you for some danger aspect. I think that would be such a good remake or some kind of, oh my God, that'd be perfect. Holy shit. I would love that. But as far as like, has there been one? The ones that have existed have not been as good as this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Overall rating and impression, it's tough because this is a Game Boy game, but not much is suffered because of that. It's, again, a very basic game, a game that's good for introductory players and advanced players because of that. I'm going to rate it based on its time. So it really doesn't age that much, really. Like, if you think about it, like, I can just picture this game with the same remake as Link's Awakening. It's just so sexy in so many ways. So if I picture it like that, let's say, you know, or I picture myself when it came out, I'd probably give this game a 9.4, realistically. Yeah. It is that good.
It's really good.
I think this game is that good, and I know it's compared to a lot of other crazy ones on my chart, but I think it's worth that rating. It's absolutely that good. The only downfalls being the music isn't a 10 out of 10 in my opinion, which is rare for Nintendo, but I just have to like maybe assess that a little. The gameplay maybe could be a little cleaner. I don't really know.
I don't know. For its time, the gameplay is solid.
I know. That's why it's hard for me to even downgrade it at all. But I can't just give it a 10. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, so, I mean, we've kind of written off the idea of a 10 at this point.
Yeah. So I think this is as good as a 10 gets on a Game Boy, though. In my opinion.
Yeah, this is an incredibly solid game. I had to, when I was Googling it just now, I had to pause for a minute because like I felt like I'd seen it before. It turns out I have. I have it.
What?
I don't know where. But I know
I definitely play it. You should play it again.
Like that is.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna look through my cartridges again because I know that I owned it at one point, and I have recovered a good amount of my Game Boy games, but some of them got, including my original copy of Mega Man 5, got destroyed in a flood.
Yeah,
that sounds awful.
I remember when I was playing Metroid Fusion earlier in the year, my mom had found it in the attic somewhere. I bet you my copy of Donkey Kong is right where that was.
Yeah. The only reason I didn't include this in the introductory games for someone is because I think of the difficulty. I feel like this would be like a top 10 games. If someone was like, all right, now that I played the 5, like now give me like Donkey Kong Land 2, Donkey Kong, if you want something real hard, here comes Metroid coming at you and all that.
Yep.
That's where I would slip that in. But this is like Dark Souls difficulty for the Game Boy, as far as the Game Boy is concerned. The later levels, like the last 3 worlds, are fucking insane.
Yeah.
I needed Rewind. I wasn't going to be able to beat this.
Yeah.
I can't believe I beat this as a child. Like, I don't understand that.
I don't think I ever did beat it as a child.
I guarantee I didn't.
I was having flashbacks about the levels. So, I mean, I'm like 90% sure I beat it. But I do remember, like, for the most part, how the game ended. So, okay, that's all I have to go on, really.
Yeah.
But I don't remember there being 101 levels. I was like,
that's
there's
a
40.
ton.
I told Colin. At the beginning, I was like, there's 40 levels. Don't worry.
40 levels is still a lot of levels, man.
A lot, yeah.
40 levels is the standard for a platformer, I would say. Like that 40 levels, you're solid. All the Donkey Kong countries have give or take 40 levels. Like 3 has like 45. But dude, 101 levels? What the fuck? And all fully fleshed out? Insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All based on a fairly simple concept, really.
Yeah, that's what's the most beautiful thing is this whole concept is based off of a 3-level game for the arcade. And it's just like totally they literally took new Mario and new Donkey Kong and just like reinserted them. And then arguably Donkey Kong immediately changed when Country. I don't know what came out. I think Country released before, but I'm not 100% sure. And so this was like the end of this type of Donkey Kong in their mind until they did Mario versus Donkey Kong, which is kind of
right. Right
That's
on.
pretty cool.
Does that wrap it up?
Pretty cool. I think you did it. Everyone play that game. I would definitely recommend it. That's the one thing I didn't say. This game is worth buying at this price, and I would absolutely recommend playing it.
Oh yeah,
Get it
for
on a
sure.
free emulator.
Honestly, if I can't find my copy, I might hop on eBay and pick up a copy if it's that cheap for real.
Yeah.
I'm looking on DK Oldies right now, which is like he sells cartridges.
DK Oldies.
It's $22.
Yeah.
Okay, that's worth it. Yeah.
Worth it for sure.
I might slam that.
You can get that and all the lands for under $80.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Can.
Right on. All right, let's switch back.